Miss Hagen has been kind of harassing me continually through third party, through other vendors, and I have a mermaid school that I run, and she has been using my name and telling these potential people that I've already been talking to that she is running my, I want to say promotions is the word I'm looking for, trying to get us gigs when that's not, in fact, she's not an employee. She's just somebody that I had as a friend helping out, and that's how she paid for her certification, is by kind of helping me out when I certified her as a mermaid. And I heard from several vendors that I had been in contact with that she went behind my back and told them that she was setting up the gigs for us and got the gigs in her name. And then I went to contact them and they're like, oh, well, we already get, when I said, hey, I haven't heard from you about this gig. Oh, well, we already gave your company the gig. And I'm like, no, I'm the owner of the company. And they go, well, we gave it to Miss Hagen. And I was like, oh, it was Rose Downs is what they said. And I'm like, but she's not an employee.
So give me a little bit information on what this company is that you're referring to.
I run a mermaid school.
Mermaid school.
Yes.
How does that work?
I'm certified through the Professional Association of Diving Instructors. I'm required to have a business license and my own insurance. They require all that. Aside of, I work for the YMCA, so they have insurance on me, but I have to provide my own and the business license. And when I go and try and get gigs at Renaissance festivals and fairs and private gigs and such, and if they come to me and say, somebody comes to me and say, hey, I need a couple mermaids for this show, I will go to my community of mermaids and mermaids that I have certified. And I will say, okay, this person's looking for this in particular. I gave them a bunch of pictures, their backgrounds, and I will be like, they picked you and they picked you. And I will say, this is what I'm offering to pay you, as the owner of the company. And if they accept it, great, we set it up. And then they are paid through my company to do, I'm gonna say like a 1099. They're their own contractor, but because they're not a full employee. And I just set it up to where they're doing the gig, because certain people are looking for certain types of mermaids, and I may not be their type. They may want a long-haired, as Tiffany, redhead. They may want a really skinny person. They want a man, who I have a few mermen on my roster that I can use. So we get these gigs. Well, I've heard back from a few companies that Miss Hagen has gone, after I've contacted these people, has gone in and said, oh yes, I'm working for Ona Waikini, which is my company, and I'm trying to get these gigs set up. And then she's booking the gigs for herself privately and getting paid privately through these companies. One of them was the Thurston County Fairgrounds.
Was in your employ as
she was not an employee ever. She was just a volunteer. Okay. Just somebody that came in as a volunteer. And we had an agreement that she would volunteer and help me out as payment, kind of like I do certifications for mermaid certifications through Patty. And in order to get her certification, she kind of like, I'm going to say, just kind of volunteered her time to help me out. And I just kind of comped what my fee would be. And she paid the Patty portion, because Patty has their own fees to do the certification papers. So she just kind of helped me out. Yeah. But she was never a paid employee. And I never said she was, and she was going out getting gigs for these, supposedly getting gigs for these people. She would, I guess, send them letters in my behalf, which I've never seen the letters. I never approved of any letters. I've been contacting these companies, and there's a couple that we have lost out on because she has gone behind my back using my information. And now my name is blacklisted because of, so I'm losing money because, and I'm losing gigs, professional gigs, because I have somebody using my name saying that they're, oh yes, this is Ona Waikini, she's insured, and they're getting the gigs for themselves under my name. So when the lady at the Thurston County Fairgrounds, when I contacted her, was under the understanding through Tiffany that she worked for me, but she didn't. So she gave her the gig, assuming that it was my company, with the assumption that it was my insurance, my business license, but I had no knowledge. And after I talked to Kristen personally, because I don't like dealing with text and email, I said, let me call you. Let's explain the situation. Let's see what's going on. I said, please contact me as I'm the business owner. I don't want you dealing with somebody else that's not an employee. So she started dealing with me direct. And that's when she explained to me that Tiffany had gone to her and used my name, used my company to get herself a gig for tomorrow, actually. And
so your company, where is that company located? Is that in your?
My company home is based in Rochester, but I am based at the YMCA, at Briggs YMCA. I work for the company and I run my school through them. And I run my school through all of Washington.
Okay. So your allegation that she was using your name to get those gigs.
Correct.
Were those, which county were those in?
It's been Thurston County and what is Seattle, Pierce County, because it was the aquarium up there. Okay. Grays Harbor County with Graves Haven Renaissance Festival, the Portland Zoo also. These are different companies that the Children's Museum downtown, the Yacht Club downtown, the Grays Harbor Boat Festival, and the Grays Harbor, the one we did, Harbor Days. So
you're saying that she used your company's good name, your insurance information, and then got basically the contracts for her.
It was trying to get them for her. She got a couple for herself, and then I lost out on the others because of all the drama. They didn't want to deal with us.
Did you contact law enforcement for your identity being used?
I had tried to, but they said I had to just do this. So I contacted him and they said, well, there's nothing we can do. It's a civil matter. So that's why I took it to this. One of my mermen has been harassed continuously as third party because of this whole issue. He's here with me as a witness.
So when you're referring to a mermaid, you're referring to a person,
a human being, yes.
That human being that acts like that for an exhibition?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, for shows, for right now we're doing a show at the Mermaid Museum and we're there.
So you said that you have just made their allegations that she has used those. Are there any documentation to prove
the document that I have from the Thurston County Fairgrounds is the text that I received that says that, because I didn't have, like I said, I talked to her in person because I wanted to know what's going on. And I don't like the paper of, like with texting, things get misconstrued. So I wanted to physically talk to her and say what happened. You know, it's easier for me to say on paper and it's just somebody says, oh, well, that's not what it was. It's easier for me to talk to somebody in person. The lady at the fairgrounds has letters that says she's calling Rose to discuss it, send her information, and that she's said that somebody was threatening her, but there wasn't a threat to her. It was basically, it was Mermaid Orion. The only threat was, if you don't leave us alone and stop using my information, you will be sued. That was the threat.
Who made that threat to who?
Orion. And so she wanted to clearly speak to me before, and I was working, so I didn't get the message. And then it came back that I said from using my business name, they gain jobs, the casino, etc. I'm trying to find the one that she says, I will give you a call. And that's when I physically talked to her. She goes, her one thing is, by the way, I received a visit from Rose on Monday at work. Oh, this was me. She visited me at work without my permission while I was teaching. And she showed up trying to discuss everything that was going on. And her stating that you and her talked almost daily and you two are very good friends. I said I had purposely not responded to any text. I wanted it to go away. I wasn't trying to do any of this. I just wanted her to leave me alone. Leave my business alone, leave me alone, leave. She's hurting my business. I just wanted it to be gone and be done. So I ignored her. She showed up at my work. I almost got fired because she also sent threatening letters she sent under different names. She sent letters to the YMCA about the letters that Orion said about protecting me, leave me alone. And I almost got fired because they thought I was involved in it. And so I got called in the office and they said, do you know what's going on? And I explained, I said, because we've received several letters regarding some things that are really disturbing. And I said, and before they even told me who it was, I said, let me guess, either Rose Downs, Mermaid Lava, or Tiffany Hagen. And he looks at me and goes, yes. And I said, it's the same person under 3 different aliases. And that's what she's been doing to these different companies, is going under different aliases, using my information, trying to get jobs, showing up at my work, contacting multiple mermaid friends of mine. One I have a letter from that she immediately contacted her and was harassing her. It's like, now I have to step back as a friend because of things that are going on. And I don't want her contacting the people that I work, mermaids that I've used in the past, or any of my people that I know that are mermaids that I could say, hey, I might want to use you for a gig. They aren't going to want to work with me because of all the harassment, because it was constant emails and texts and phone calls back and forth. I never went to anybody when there was an issue. I was just trying to let it go and leave it alone. I didn't go to my friends. I didn't go to Orion. I didn't go to anybody. I just let it be. I started getting all these phone calls from all these different people, including the lady at the fairgrounds, saying, what is going on? Why are we getting all these harassing phone calls and constant texts, and from Orion and Mermaid Koi and Mermaid Jess and the lady at the fairgrounds and Grace Haven? They were getting all of these messages and all of these emails, my work.
When you're saying they were getting, it's the third parties, other people.
Third party. And they aren't going to want to work with me because they're being harassed about a situation that had nothing to do with them. If that makes sense, if they're being harassed about me through them, they're not going to want to work with me, which is hurting my business. I'm losing jobs. That's my income. I've already lost out with the Seattle Aquarium. Will not work with us anymore because of this issue. The Portland Zoo, the Children's Museum downtown, which I have worked there before, the Yacht Club, the Boat Festival, Harbor Days, and the fairgrounds. And I finally got that one straightened around where I might have a gig, but I did lose out on a different gig with her because of Tiffany. I can't be harassed. She also has been stalking me and Orion Bolt on Facebook. She blocked everybody as soon as everything happened and she got served. She blocked everybody. She turned down her social media. Nobody, everything's done. Everybody was blocked. She can find me. She can unblock for a minute, find me, and then reblock. I don't go into her stuff, so I have no idea what's going on. I don't care what she does. I just want her to leave me alone. But she found out that my father died. I didn't tell her. And she's going around telling other people.
Yes, you told me in your protection order.
And I didn't say anything. My father was sick. But I never told anybody except for I made a post on my Facebook that said, my father has passed. So the only way that she would know personally is if she was stalking me and going through my stuff to find that out. Because I'm not telling her, I wasn't talking to her.
You said she turned off her media and
all of her social media got turned down. Her Instagram, her Facebook,
How is her blocking her social media as in harassment to you?
No, I didn't say that was harassment. I'm just saying that she turned it off as she didn't want me to see what she's posting. I don't know if she's posting bad things about me. I do know that she's going to everybody and telling them personal stories about what she believes that she wants to believe about the company. I'm not going to these people. I'm not going to anybody. They're messaging me or calling me and saying, what is going on? This Tiffany person has been constantly calling me and texting me, and they're like, I don't want to be involved in this. And I'm like, I don't want you to be involved in it. I don't know. I didn't say anything to them because I didn't want this to escalate into this. I just wanted it to disappear. So I had, like I said, I had ignored her for 3 days after I found out what she did at the fairgrounds. And then I found out with I started calling and saying what's going on to these different festivals. And they told me what was going on with her using my name and using my company name and saying that she had the insurance and that we were covered. And I'm like, I don't think that's okay. It hurts my business.
You said that she has been stalking you. Can you give me examples of how she was stalking?
She's been telling everybody about the incident on New Year's. There was her and another mermaid worked the New Year's gig at the Tileo Casino. And there was an incident and I was there the entire time supervising. So I had 2 mermaids and me standing in between, watching everything that is going on. This is New Year's Eve. This is at a casino. People are extremely drunk, and our mermaids are wearing tails, and they're put in chairs almost in a pathway. One of the men that was extremely drunk came in, tripped over her tail, and fell on her. He got up, he apologized. She told me what happened. I had eyes on her the entire night. I was over there helping. We also had another man come over and stand next to her to help escort people around her. I talked to security. I informed them of what happened. My other mermaid that was there was a witness that happened one time. When I confronted her, I asked her about it. And because Tiffany was causing drama towards what was going on with the other mermaid, just kept spam texting her and calling her after the event. And I had thought I had taken care of the situation. I was literally there the whole time watching the whole event. Nothing else happened. After the event was over, she contacted the event director instead of coming back to me and said it happened several times. I knew about the one incident. I took care of the incident. And that was it. It was done. I informed the security. I assume the security informed the event director because of what happened. Apparently that didn't happen. So I contacted the event director. The event director had told me that Tiffany had gone to her behind my back and told her that it happened several times, which in fact it didn't. I was there the whole time watching, so I knew it didn't. And said, well, I'm not going to press charges, or I'm not going to sue. And she ended up getting a free night stay and some gambling money from it, from what I understand. Kind of like, I want to say extortion is not the word I'm looking for, but she went to that person and then took it to the other, to Mermaid Koi, who had nothing to do with New Year's, absolutely nothing. She had messaged her, and that's in here, that Koi had just sent me a little, an email that said what happened. She blocked Rose because she kept getting harassed by her. She did say that. She wouldn't stop calling and texting her about the incident on New Year's that had nothing to do with her. Mermaid Jess, the other mermaid that was there New Year's, kept getting texts and calls from her, and she wants to stay Switzerland. She said, she goes, I saw the one's incident, never happened again. I don't want to be in the middle of any of the drama. I just want to stay out of it. I respect that. I don't want my business to suffer, and it has.
Thank you. I understand your position now. I may have few more questions, but let me hear from Ms. Hagen now.
Okay, I do have my witness if you have any questions for him. He did do some police reports about the stalking and
you have explained enough. I don't see any reason.
Okay, I wanted to give that option if it was necessary.
Thank you, Ms. Malone. Ms. Hagen, go ahead.
Hello, Your Honor. So in June of 2025, I became an affiliate with the Port of Olympia. I decided one day while walking around the harbor with my family, we needed some kind of children's entertainment down at the port, and I believed that mermaids would be a great, accessible, entertaining event for parents to come to. It would be a great opportunity for families of low income to have access to quality educational entertainment in our city for free. I met with the Port of Olympia's market managing and advertising guy. His name's Tabor Lee. We decided that if I could find someone who had the equipment to throw a mermaid show at Olympia Harbor Days in August of 2025, that the city would allow me to do it. It was a big public effort. We were all learning about permits, water usage, water access in our city. How are we all going to make this happen? And it was honestly one of the most warm community efforts that I've been embraced by since moving to Olympia, Washington. I found Trisha Malone, and in July started helping her build her mermaid tank, where I have, helped with painting it, the cost of the paint, pieces for the mermaid tank, and I spent time doing physical labor, like she said, in exchange for my PADI certification. Instead of making payments for the classes she provides, I was helping her build the tank, and then I would be performing with her in the summer and helping her again inside of her classes at the YMCA. That began in July. August was Olympia Harbor Days. That was the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th. I performed with her for free. She was allowed the spot at Harbor Days for free by the nonprofit organization. And we were allowed to have water access thanks to the Port of Olympia covering the service fees for us. It was a lovely show. It was honestly some of the most beautiful memories that I'll ever have. And I can't wait to continue to do that with my life. I think that that's my calling. Now, moving forward, I'm starting to volunteer in these classes where Miss Malone teaches at the YMCA. This is where things become a legal issue because PADI, who is the scuba board nationally that you get certified to scuba dive, free dive, and mermaid dive through. They have regulations that have to be met. And the witness that Trish brought today, how she said right before I began to speak, they had filed their own protection order against me that was denied by Kitsap County. Now, we're both volunteers at this establishment. Neither one of us get paid to do this. We're in the pool with these children, teaching them how to swim with their legs bound in a mermaid tail. However, I was new. I didn't have any kind of regulation from PADI to be certified or qualified to be in the water with these children. It's seen as a danger. I'm also not certified or qualified in lifeguard training through the YMCA or anyone else. And after I found out that I was breaking laws, rules, standards of national scuba certification, I contacted PADI and I reached out to them and I said, I would like to understand what I'm legally allowed to do in the water and what I am not allowed to do, because I don't want to lose my certification to continue my career because I'm being misguided by the person I'm trusting to provide me a service. I made that phone call February 9th. That was the last day I saw Trisha Malone. And that was my 30th birthday. So I thought seeing my friend would be something that would be all right. We had the protection order and the harsh words from her witness happen. She told me weeks before that her father was on hospice. I did not know her father had died until I received it in her own handwriting on her protection order. And let's see, on the 30th, I went up to the YMCA. I hugged Trish and I said, hey, nobody's words are more important than yours. If you didn't say it to me, I don't believe it. I wanted to make sure we are okay. I know that you're going through a hard time with grief. I'm here for you, my friend. And then I left. And then I, on the 11th, I find out that Orion, her witness, had filed that protection order. On the 12th, it's denied by Kitsap County, and on the 19th, it arrives at my house. And I'm shocked by the content.
Talk about that. That's not relevant. That's a different issue in a different court. So
Yes,
continue with what Ms. Malone has alleged.
Yes, sir. So on the 21st of February, I get a phone call from the Olympia Police Department alleging that an employee at the YMCA is saying that I'm contacting their work to harass them. But when I received that protection order, the reason that I bring it up is because I was accused of a crime in that protection order that happened allegedly inside of the YMCA facility. Now, I reach out to the YMCA and I say, hey, I was accused of a crime here by one of your employees. May I please have the video surveillance footage to prove that I did not commit this crime? YMCA tells me you have to file an incident report and a police report. We're not allowed to give that footage to civilians. So I do. And that's when Miss Malone has said I'm contacting her work and harassing her. That was implications of the YMCA due to the accusations that were made by her and her friend in the protection order at Kitsap County. And that protection order, they say I made threats, that I was yelling and screaming and endangering children, which is a big deal when your job is surrounded by providing a safe, entertaining space for children. The police department, as of the 25th of February, hadn't maintained that footage. They weren't able to go get it yet. I don't know if they've obtained it since, but as of right now, I don't have access to it. If you guys do, that's unbeknownst to me. But that's why I'd reached out. But on the 9th of February, I blocked all social media accounts that had anything to do with the petitioner, the petitioner's friends or family. On the 10th of February, I announced publicly on social media that I would no longer have affiliation with the company. And then I've had nothing to do with either party, anyone from the school. I let the people I was working with know, like she mentioned, I had reached out to other mermaids. I let the people that I was working with know we're no longer going to be working together, but you know, I'm still your friend, nothing wrong between us. I'm just going to part ways. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not illegal. There were also people mentioned, like Irish Fest, Thurston County. She didn't mention the fact that it was an Irish festival, and clearly by looking at me, sir, I think you can tell my genealogy is definitely Irish. The festivals that I'm working with are 501c3 nonprofit organizations. I will not be receiving compensation. This is a gift of love to my community, out of my husband's pocket, out of my free will and free time, out of my passion, that I'm providing for free. I have a handwritten affidavit you may have in the room with you now. I saw my husband had entered the courtroom yesterday at the event. She's wrong about that too. The event's not tomorrow. It was yesterday. I was a mermaid for free, talking to kids about ocean conservation. And that was strictly because of my heritage. I was reclaiming my heritage, making my redheaded grandmother proud, you know, to keep hold of something that is dying, my culture. And that's not wrong either. And it's certainly not something that I'm ashamed of or feel remorse or regret for, because I had a good time and those children had a good time. No one got hurt. And I'm so sorry, but her company is a Hawaiian themed mermaid company. The next festival that she's speaking of, the one that she's saying that she lost out on, it's Cascadia Ren Fair. Cascadia Ren Fair is a Gaelic and Celtic style fair where their actors actually learn how to speak Gaelic because it's a dying language, teach it to their kids, and do entire shows that are historically accurate in my dead language. You know, that's a beautiful thing. And I've got a handwritten affidavit from the co-director of that Renaissance Festival where she in her own wording states that they put out a call to action in the mermaid community, sourcing free mermaids, and the fact that I was Irish was a plus. And that's why I'm being brought on to that project as well. As for the insurance fraud claims, I have not performed for pay since January 1st at the casino that Trish mentioned. She paid me $165 on the 31st at 10:16 p.m. And that was the last form of payment I've received to be a mermaid to date. So also saying I wasn't her employee and that I've had nothing to do with her is a little outrageous when we've been in contact since June of 2025. We were in the news together. There's a news article, Jolt News covered Olympia Harbor Days, her mermaid school's right in written paper. There's proof that for months I've been working with her, and now You know, I've even had to go through and apologize to the professionals that allow her to do her job because I was being taught incorrectly. I was being allowed to do things in the water, not only with my own body, but with children that put us all in danger because I wasn't the one permitted to be in the water. She's an instructor, not me. And I also have, if you don't mind, assistant mermaid instructor, Ona Waikini, in a mermaid school. Authorized to assist in mermaid classes, supervision, and safety support. It's just a piece of paper because none of that information on the bottom is true. I was not authorized to do any of that legally or otherwise. Not by the facility that houses, the school that she provides, not by her business, because I was not qualified, and not by the Scuba Association. So I wanted to.
Ms. Hagen, I'm gonna
Mhm.
stop you from further argument at this point or further testimony. I have pretty good understanding of what is going on here. Before I make
Yes,
my
sir.
ruling, I have a few questions for Ms. Malone.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Malone, when you indicated that she used your name and your insurance and then solicited any contracts, did you file a cease and desist letter of some sort to stop her from doing that?
I physically told her to stop using my name.
Okay. And you said that you have now lost contracts with such as Point Defiance and other entities.
Yes, sir.
Have you considered filing any claim of damages against Ms.?
No, I just want to be
Hagen?
left alone. So I want it to stop so I can just continue with my life and business.
I
don't like
understand
the
you're
legal
asking
stuff.
for a no contact order, which requires as Commissioner Stowell earlier indicated to all the parties present on Zoom and in seeking this type of relief, what course of conduct means, how it must show that there is an annoyance and a continued harassment to such a degree that it is causing substantial emotional distress to a person, to the petitioner. And then you also indicated earlier that she has been stalking you. You have given me some information, but what I have to find is that that stalking is that harassing conduct is being shown with the intent to frighten, intimidate, or harass in a person knows or reasonably should know that the recipient will be intimidated or harassed. I have had the you have provided the information that she blocked social media so you couldn't see, but that is not harassment. That is not a stalking. You also said that she's making contact with third party and they believe they are being harassed. But I still have to make a finding to order a no contact order, which can subject a person to a criminal liability. I have to hear more evidence of continued annoyance, harassment as is listed in as elements in the statute. Do you have anything else to add before I make my ruling?
It's just that harassing me through third party, going to the vendors and like I said, was using my good name to make herself look better, I guess is how I can,
I understand
and
with your
saying
situation,
she's-
and I think it is a complicated situation, but the relief that you should be seeking is not before court for in form of a no contact order, which subjects person to another criminal liability. If you have suffered any losses that can constitute a civil action against a person, you are free to explore into that. But I, at this point, am not finding by preponderance of the evidence that a no contact order is proper based on the evidence before me showing that the conduct is such that it seriously annoys a person, harasses, or is detrimental. It is definitely, I can understand it may have caused you financial losses
and emotional
and
losses, sir.
and emotional distress and maybe reputation loss, but those are called tort law remedies that are available to you. So at this point, I am going to deny your motion. So we are concluded with this matter, and remaining matters will be handled by Commissioner Stowell. I'll sign up on this order.
Yes.